Hi everyone, my name is Laura Fandin, student of the MIT xPRO Professional Certificate in Coding, Full Stack Development with MERN. Throughout this presentation, I will talk about the development of my capstone project, a banking application. First, I'm going to show a diagram with the architecture of the whole application. We start with the front-end tier. I used React to develop the different components and views of the application. For the styling, I used React Bootstrap, and I used React Router, which was complemented with Firebase to make the front-end authentication. The middle tier, I used the software architecture REST to make the data exchange between the client and the server. And finally, for the backend, I used Node Express for the server, and the database is MongoDB Atlas. So to communicate between the middle and front tiers, I used Axios, and for the backend, I used Mongoose to establish the connection between the server and the database. So the front-end architecture begins with the index.js file, where the app is rendered. The app.js file contains the header and the pages. The header will display different navigation bars depending on whether there is an authenticated user or not. In the first case, we have home, deposit, withdraw, and these options are enabled. And in the right corner, the name or email of the user and a button to log out are present. In the second case, deposit and withdraw are disabled, and we have two additional options, which are login and create account. The views are home, withdraw, and deposit. And additionally, as can be observed in the navigation bar, we have login and create account. These two will be mentioned in the next slide. So I decided to use forms for most of the views, as they need the user input, and the information can be easily handled with the form functions like handle create, handle submit, handle blur, and handle change. Now, when the user is not authenticated and they want to access to withdraw or deposit, they will be redirected to the login page. Only until the user is authenticated, they can access to these options. So finally, for the authentication, a user can create an account with an email and password, and for the login, we have two options. Um, we can log in with email and password, and we can log in with a provider, which in this case is Google. One of the challenges were first to implement the authentication methods and integrate them so we can access to the user from everywhere in the application. To achieve this, I used use context and create context and these tools from React. By implementing Firebase functions, signing with email and password, signing with pop-up, using Google as the provider, and create user with email and password, the authentication process could be achieved. In addition to the logging via email and password, Firebase allows easy integration of Google for the login process, as well as making the user persist between sessions. The user remains logged in unless he clicks the logout button, which uses the Firebase signout function. So Firebase was a very important part, a very important tool in this process of authentication.